Now with 3 dimensions, you still have your parametric equations, so we're going to get 2 plus t, 1 minus t, and 0 plus t. And for our second equation, and when we put these together now, we get 3 equations with 2 unknowns. So we're going to get 2 plus t is equal to 3 plus 2s. We're going to get 1 minus t is equal to 3s. And we're going to get t is equal to negative 1 minus s. So we've got 1, 2, 3 equations with 2 unknowns. Now, in order to solve something with 2 unknowns, how many equations do you need? Well, you just need 2. So we have more information than we need. So if we just use the first 2, we can solve for t and s. Or if we use the first and the third one, or the second and the third one, we're going to be able to solve for t and s. The thing that might happen, though, is after you solve for t and s with 2 of the equations, you do have to check to make sure that that s and that t also works for the third equation. Because if it doesn't, then you're going to have 2 lines that are skew. So if we took equation 1 and 2, because I've already got those boxed together right now, and right now if I just add those equations together, because I've already got the t's lined up, you notice that you would get 0 t's, and then adding on the other side you're going to get 3 plus 5s. So move the 3 over, 0 is equal to 5s. So s has to equal 0. If s is equal to 0, plug that back in. Looks like it's easiest to plug that back into equation number 2. And you would get t is equal to 1. So our first 2 equations say s is 0, t is 1. What we have to see is, does that work? Does that work for our third equation? And when we plug those values into our equation, oops, no. So are they concurrent? These lines are not concurrent. Let's say you decided not to check that third one, and you felt like, I'm on a good roll here, I've got s as 0, I've got t as 1, and that does work for my first 2 equations. I then go back and plug that into my equation. Well, if s is 0, the point you would get is 3, 0, negative 1. That's easy to see. If t is 1, you're going to get 3, 0, positive 1. And so when you went to try to find your point of intersection, if you plug it into both of your equations just to verify, you're going to find out that there's a mistake, that something's not lining up. So our conclusion, these are not concurrent lines. They're skew lines. They're not parallel because the direction vectors are not a multiple of each other. They're just skew lines. And with the s is 0 and t is 1, had the question started off with a negative 1 there, it would have worked. Had we started off with a negative 1 for that direction vector, then it would have worked. But as it stands right here, they don't intersect.